kind of take on the deck is going to be interesting. Cameron Roland's take on the deck will be interesting as well. It's a mirror in the not most traditional sense, but both players are trying to realistically accomplish the same thing, which is combo off.
Yes.
That's what they're trying to do. The big question for me, and this has been kind of the question I have the entire time with this new combo, Saheeli Rai and Felidar Guardian, is just how are these cards on their own?
A lot of it depends on how contested the battlefield is, too. I think Saheeli Rai, if your opponent's not up to very much, just scrying one every turn is a pretty powerful thing to be doing, and especially when you're trying to assemble a two-card combo. They aren't great cards on their own. They will have their spots, but if you can weave in other synergistic creatures or cards, then they might be able to stand up on their own.
It's an attack for 1 here by Cameron Rolen. Inspiring Vantage is where Cameron did start. Played a 3-of an Inspector, got himself a Max McFeedy Clue. Now here's an Evolving Wilds, and I believe that will be his second turn of the game. Jones, he kicked things off with a Wandering Funeral. Now he'll untap, he'll take a draw step. Looks like he picked up a copy of Glimmer of Genius. He'll play his own Inspiring Vantage, pass the turn back. Cameron will sacrifice the Evolving Wilds. A basic will enter the battlefield tapped here in just a moment, and then we'll see what his third turn does bring. Now, 3-of an Inspector might be the best white card in the format.
I think it's on the short list for best cards in the format.
Yeah, not even just white cards, just best cards.
I think just on rate alone, it is quite good. And the fact that there are clue synergies and now just a whole load of artifact synergies, this is on the short list for sure.
A basic mountain after the attack for 1, and now we have a Thalia. Kevin is going to kill that very quickly with Harness Lightning. Now, Kevin wants that off the battlefield because his deck is trying to combo it anyway, but also Thalia's just a good card that you want to have dead.
Yep. It's pressure, and it's also disruption on the non-basic lands, and if Jones is 3 colors, probably just a whole lot of those.
Kevin will have an energy left over from the Harness Lightning. He'll play an Inspiring Vantage, and now it's a Whirler Virtuoso, up to 4 energy. Now, for those of you who do play some limited Magic, you know just how good Whirler Virtuoso can be. How good is it constructed? I don't know. We'll have to find out here. Now, this is a card we know is good and constructed. That's Gideon Allies Zendikar, and as much as things have changed with bannings in a new set, some things remain the same. This card's still great.
And it's possible that, when you have a round of bannings and Gideon is on the short list for best and most ubiquitous cards, why not ban Gideon? And it's possible that R&D just felt that for aggressive decks to be able to hang, they needed a tool like this. And this is still going to be one of the best, most format-defining cards.
Whirler Virtuoso is going to make a Thopter on the unstep. Kevin has to expend 3 energy to do that, so he's down to 1 energy yet again. Basic Island enters the battlefield. Here comes Kevin with the Virtuoso maybe as well. He's going to slow down just a touch.
Attacking with the Virtuoso is a little dodgy here because I think it's immediate that Rolen just double blocks and see what's going on. Even if Jones has a removal spell to, in quotes, blow him out, it's not even that bad.
So just the Thopter will come across. Kevin's going to leave up 4 mana. We're going to pass the turn back over to Cameron Rolen. He draws a copy of Inspiring Vantage.
Also, what I like about Roland's build here, and for the mirror and the combo implications in general, I think a lot of your matchup against the Saheeli Rai combo deck is going to come down to, can your opponent put it on the battlefield on turn 3 because you don't have enough pressure? If you can avoid that, if you force them to manage your board first or try to do it all in one shot, I think you can probably have a respectable game. If you're not playing something on the battlefield the first couple of turns and your opponent just gets to cast Saheeli Rai and go up, your matchup is likely to be bad.
There's another Knight Ally, and now here's Selfless Spirit. Now, as much as we oftentimes see when a new set comes out or cards get banned, all that stuff, a lot of attention is on the new combo, new cards from Aether Revolt, all that stuff. But, some cards that have just been around for a while, like Selfless Spirit, still just really good cards.
Yeah, you forget about them.
Yeah.
Because they're just part of the experience. You bracket it off. But Roland's list is the combo, but a lot of the, how is he putting it all together? How is he winning when he doesn't have the combo? It's all old stuff. It's just the white-blue flash package.
Glimmer of Genius here from Kevin on Cameron's end step. He'll scry 2. He's already gotten his 2 energy, so he's up to 3. And Kevin going to take a long look at the hand here. He does have a Felidar Guardian in hand. Anticipate, looks like a couple copies of Negate as well. But right now we're kind of playing this little bit of a sub-game here of I need to kind of manage this Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
because Gideon is so powerful. It creates its own little game inside of the game. And realistically, Kevin's got to find a way to take care of this thing.
Well, the alternative is Kevin just says, I have to combo out now.
Very
that
true.
I can't manage the battlefield long term. He has a lot of chump blocking here, and he can make a variety of Thopters. He has a lot of time, but the alternative line here is just say, I can't get getting off the battlefield. It's not worth using my resources that way. Just find ways to defend myself and draw cards and try to kill Rolen by just executing the combo.
Another Thopter there on the end step for Kevin. He's got 2 1/1 flyers out here that can kind of do a nice job of checking the old Gideon now. Where the Virtuoso looked like a weird inclusion, but, you know, honestly, Whirler Virtuoso is a good Magic card.
Yeah, and it also interacts pretty well with Feldar Guardian and Saheeli Rai, too.
Yes.
And you need to fill out your deck with 52 other cards. So it's good on rate. It's a good synergy piece. Makes sense.
And you can see, if we're being honest, that Virtuoso, Kevin would probably prefer for it to be a Reflector Mage.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be really bad for Cameron
Right.
if that were Reflector Mage. So that might be part of the reason if you imagine that Whirler Virtuoso being Reflector Mage and, you know, maybe 2 copies of Reflector Mage, this may not even have been a game.
Right.
So that's why that card's no longer with us, I believe. Oath of Chandra going to come down. Looks like it's going to go after Selfless Spirit. We'll see an activation. Now, Kevin going to come across over to Gideon, going to bring Gideon down to 1. There's a chance here. The Oaths are cards that have really been underplayed. Oath of Jace, Oath of Chandra. We saw Oath of Nissa quite a bit. It was really good in green-white tokens many moons ago. But with Feldar Guardian, the Oaths become pretty good cards now.
And I think there are a lot of high-quality 3 toughness threats in the new set. And you could play with Incendiary Flow, but if you're not really in the market to burn your opponent out, then I think Oath of Chandra is the better card if you're playing with some Planeswalkers. Because that trigger is good at managing opposing Planeswalkers as well, and that might be at a premium in the new metagame.
Just a little card to keep your eyes on. Again, when new sets do come in, when bannings take place, old cards that you may have forgotten get good again.
And both of these players are playing with Oath of Chandra in their main deck.
There you go.
Which is a card, as you mentioned, we really saw almost none of in the previous format.
A Night Ally has been made here by Cameron, and now he's going to play a Feldar Guardian. Now let's take a look at this for those who are not aware, because now Gideon has been reset. So all this work that Kevin has done going after Gideon has been undone, because you may exile another target permanent. Normally it's creature or non-planeswalker or something like that. That's why this card is so scary, because yes, it can work well with Saheeli Rai. We all know that. But also cashing in Gideon here, being able to blink it and now cash in for an emblem, that's a heck of a turn.
Yeah, especially with Jones having exhausted a lot of resources trying to wear Gideon down. And this is how R&D works sometimes. You know why I'm betting it says permanent here? Because if you laundry list it out, you would have to have a 6th line.
Yeah, I can see that.
The text would run over.
Yeah, I can actually see that.
It can often be as simple and innocuous as something like that.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
It's like, oh, well, now we have to cut the flavor text, or it's not clear this fits, or we might have to go down to a smaller font size.
No one says their job is easy.
It could be things like that.
Yeah. Kevin has played and Anticipate, and he has found a copy of Saheeli Rai. So here's what we know. He's got both pieces of the combo in his hand. Now, does he have the time to get there? Because he's under some real pressure now. Also, Cameron has a Feldar Guardian, which means that Kevin has to be a little bit wary about a Saheeli Rai coming from Cameron's side of the battlefield.
Well, I believe land number 6 does it if there's no interaction.
Here's a hub.
Because he can play Feldar Guardian, blink out a land, comes back into play on tap. Now he has 3 mana. That casts Saheeli Rai, and we're up. This is all broken up by a shock.
I don't think he can afford to play around it right now.
Probably not.
Well, here's a Guardian. It looks like he's going to blink of the Whirler Virtuoso. Maybe a little surprised?
I do not know if he has the whole thing rolled up.
Maybe he is a little worried about shock, because we know he has Saheeli in his hand. That we know.
Oh, it looks like he has Negate in hand, so he may feel like I can wait this turn,
play super safe,
and then next turn have Negate for a shock.
And I actually believe right now Kevin has 2 negates in his hand.
Okay, then he's got a ton of cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The question, of course, now is, okay, can I stave off elimination long enough? I'm at 12. My opponent, Cameron, has 3 3/3 Night Allies and a 2/3 3-man Inspector and a 2/5. So, you know, little pressure.
He's got a lot to work with, though. I mean, he's got a lot of chump blockers. The Feldar Guardian's got 4 toughness, so that checks something. Still got the Negate up. He's at 12. I would be shocked if Jones got killed this turn.
Selfless Spirit. That'll resolve. It's a 3/2 flyer as opposed to 2/1 because of the Gideon emblem. Yeah, I guess the thought process there was because Cameron only had 1 mana available, which was the Inspiring Vantage, Kevin basically saying, I'm not underneath that much pressure, and I can probably play around shock because I have 2 negates.
Right.
I think that's the thought process. So Kevin's going to make another Thopter here. He's going to use 3 energy. There's going to be some blocking here that does take place.
And by Jones here not offering the Feldar Guardian up as a blocker, he is signaling very loud that I'm ready to go next turn.
Yep. Also, double block taking place, maybe trying to get Cameron to use some sort of instant speed removal spell.
Oh, it'd be great. And
Yeah.
if Rolen wants to tap mana on this block,
Yep.
Jones is thrilled. Does not matter what the card is.
Looks like Cameron's going to use Selfless Spirit to give his creature indestructible. So there goes Warrior Virtuoso. Some damage will be dealt to Kevin. I believe he's going to fall down to 6. And now we're going to head back over to Jones. And will we see a lot of Felidar Guardians here in just a moment as Jones will draw a card, picked up a copy of Ether Hub. He'll play that. He'll get an energy. He's up to 2. And is Daddy clear for takeoff? There's Saheeli Rai. The Planeswalker, everyone is worried about coming into this weekend. And if it's just 1 spell here from Cameron,
That's not going to do
yeah,
it.
Negate's going to take care of this pretty easy. Here's Stasis Snare. Kevin's going to negate that real quick. And let's do this whole song and dance, and that's going to do it. Kevin Jones going to win game number 1 here over Cameron Rolen. For the mirror match, and it is a bit of a mirror here, even though both players are a little bit different deck lists, as you would expect in week 1 of a brand new format. Currently up for Kevin Jones.
Okay, and I want everyone now that just watched that game,
Okay.
the next time you hear someone say, well, you need a shock or an unlicensed discretion or a stasis snare or it just folds to 1 piece of interaction, they have other cards in their deck.
They do.
They don't just have 52 lands and those 8 cards.
Yeah.
So there it is. Now we can stop that conversation now and forever. I'm not saying the interaction's bad. It can be a part of the puzzle. But the idea that this deck is going to be beat by a shock is, I think, kind of silly.
That's nonsense.
That is nonsense.
That is definitely not true. I will
now
tell
we
you that
know.
much.
And now we know.
Yeah.
And we can just end that conversation for all time.
It's good to have an example right in front of you.
Totally.
Sideboards is where we're going to go now. We are going to start with Cameron Rolen, who's got 3 negates, 2 Blessed Alliance, 2 Fragmentize, 2 Chandra, Torture Defiance, 2 Fumigate, a Decommission, an Aether Sphere, Harvester, a Spell Shrivel, and a Harness Lightning. What do you like and why?
Well, I like the Spell Shrivel, the 2 copies of Chandra, and the 3 negates. I think you just want counter spells, things that interact with the battlefield, and sources of card advantage, and those are the cards that cover it. You could go a little bit bigger here and try to get some of the Fumigates in. My concern there is tapping 5 mana on your own turn when that's the amount of mana that someone can kill you from. Pretty dangerous.
For Kevin's side of things, he's got 3 Radiant Flames, 3 Spell Queller, 2 Cloud Blazer, 2 Nahiri the Harbinger, a Torrential Gearhawk, a Blessed Alliance, a Dispel, a Tears of Alikut, and a Disallow. So not a lot of new cards here for Kevin, and it looks like he can go a little transformational here.
Well, I love his sideboard here.
Yeah.
What he can do here with cards like Spell Queller, Cloud Blazer, and Nahiri, he can still keep in the combo if he wants to, but he can now win games where he doesn't have the combo because he has a lot of very powerful Magic cards. They happen to synergize with the combo should it come up, but he's not leaning on it. So I would imagine the counter spells alongside the Spell Callers, the Cloud Blazers, and the Nahiris all come in here.
I like the package a lot.
I love this sideboard.
Yeah.
This is great.
Going to be interesting to see how he does sideboard. Both players, honestly. Cameron Rolen going to be on the play here for game number 2. But let's talk about StarCityGames.com. Game night is the very popular promotion. We're about halfway through January. You can see on our lapels, and we do bring it back to the booth here a little bit later during this match, that we are wearing Squeaky Cheeky.
Yes, so you can head over to go.starcitygames.com/game night, find out more information about game night. Every month we generate new pins and tokens that we send to the stores that are signed up for game night. Stores can then run game night however they want to, any day of the week, any format that they want. Just get players in the store for some fun and friendly Magic. This is the January kit, and we have a couple more coming down the pipeline here. In February, we have Corky Firewalker, very popular, people anticipating. I don't know if do we have more past this? I don't know.
We do have one past this, yes.
Okay, which I have not seen before.
Okay, I thought you've seen this one.
Maybe
but go
I
ahead.
have.
Here we go.
Pick through time.
You've seen this?
I have not.
Okay. Do you know what to play off of?
I'm guessing dig through time.
Very good. You're right on ball. You're right on the ball.
Okay. Go.starcitygames.com/game night. Find the game night closest to you. Stores if you want to get signed up for game night and you have not, contact your Star City Games in-store play representative.
There we are, game night. Which one's my favorite? I think June is my favorite for this year. I can't remember.
You're that far
sure.
ahead?
I know what's happening for the next year.
That far ahead?
Yeah, I think June's my favorite for this year. But we got a lot of good ones. Corgi Firewalker was a quick favorite around the office.
Yes.
Quick favorite. People like dogs. People like corgis. You don't like Core Firewalker because it always beat you. It's perfect. It's great design.
No, I don't.
Great design.
I don't mind. I mean, I do mind Core Firewalker because I think it's kind of over the line for what a sideboard card should be like. But I don't really mind losing it that much because it meant the person tried. They were trying to win the matchup.
Yes.
I am much more annoyed by losing to Kitchen Fakes, for example.
Because you don't have to try. You just
it's
play.
just like, yeah, of course you play with that card.
Just a good card.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Core Firewalker means they wanted it. They wanted to look you in the eye
Yep.
and have you know that they were coming for you. I respect that.
Which one would you rather lose to? Core Firewalker or Circle Protection Red?
Core Firewalker is at least easier to concede because they're killing you with it.
Okay.
So COP Red, there's the hope of, well, they can miss their land drops or whatever, you know what I mean?
They might tap out.
They can mess up.
Yeah, sure, okay. A Selfless Spirit here for Cameron Rolen. He started things off with an Inspiring Vantage and a Plains. For Kevin Jones, a Wandering Fumarole into a Spire Bluff Canal and a Passing of the Turn.
I found a photo of myself via Google search the other day that is me
Such
and
a narcissist.
Me and a Phillies velour throwback losing to COP Red in a feature match. And the look of my face is the look of someone losing to COP Red. Carlos Romao, I believe, former world champion.
This will be a Harness Lightning that's going to try to go after Thalia. So this 1-2 punch is actually pretty nice from Cameron. Starts with a Selfless Spirit. Now he's got a way to protect Thalia. And we know that if this thing lives, Kevin has some real difficulty winning.
Yep.
That said, Kevin does play a lot of red removal in his deck. Red has plenty of options to take care of a 2-toughness creature, so it's not the end of the world. But Selfless Spirit doing some nice work there.
Absolutely. And disruption plus pressure plus a way to interact with the combo. You're in the market for all those things. Jones's hand, I believe, just flushed with red removal. I believe he's got a Shock and a Harness Lightning on top of the Harness Lightning he already played.
Kevin going to play an island. He's also got a few copies of Saheeli Rai in hand. Now, again, one of the big questions I have this weekend is how are these cards individually? We saw Felidar Guardian be pretty good in the last game. And then we saw Saheeli, of course, team up with it to kill Cameron. But how is Saheeli on a board like this? Well, it's going to go up to 4.
Yep.
Demands
some help.
Yep. He gets to deal 1 damage to Cameron. He gets to scry 1, pass the turn back.
And because Jones has another copy of Saheeli Rai in hand, let's say Rolen attacks and shocks. That's kind of the worst case scenario for this line of play. Well, that's one less shock he has to worry about if he decides to combo out.
And we can't really undersell the power of scry 1.
Yeah.
It's legitimately good.
It's good under normal circumstances, and when you are trying to assemble a 2-card combo that wins the game, it's especially good.
Yep.
Trying to find cover, trying to find your missing piece, whatever it may be.
Now, both these players having some mana issues potentially. For Kevin's side, he has no white mana yet. For Cameron's side, he has no blue. So we'll see if that works itself into the equation here for this game. Rolen, I believe, has a Walking Ballista in hand. It's going to start by attacking Saheeli. The follow-up is, okay, Selfless Spirit. And now just a passing of the turn by Cameron over to Kevin. Kevin will draw. Looks like he picked up a copy of Anticipate. He'll start by plussing Saheeli. A little scry action here. Jones looks like he wants to leave that card on top. Rolen will fall down to 18. A basic island here for Kevin. And where does the daddy want to go next? He's got Shock, 2 Saheelis, Anticipate, and Harnessed Lightning in hand. He'll just pass the turn back right now. Not just yet, actually.
If Jones is planning on using the red removal anyway, I'm not sure what the point is of allowing Rolen to untap.
Well, he might be doing this in the draw step, too. I'm not entirely sure. He's going to go after Thalia right now.
I mean, this still strikes me as unnecessarily fancy if if
Yeah.
we're just chaining together removal spells. Unless Jones is playing around some sort of 1-mana trick that could keep a creature alive, and you don't want him to save the mana by being able to use that mana on your own turn. But I definitely don't want Rolen playing a land, because if it's a land that makes blue mana,
That's a disaster.
Right, this line just might not work.
Yeah, we're in Cameron's upkeep here. So Kevin says, I'm going to Hardest Lightning your Thalia. Cameron says, I'll sacrifice my Selfless Spirit, attempt to give it indestructible. Kevin will respond to that by shocking the Thalia. Both creatures taken care of. Cameron now draws his card for the turn. He's picked up another copy of Thalia. Here is Thalia. And that'll be Cameron's turn. So Jones will untap. He'll draw, picked up a basic island. And now he'll scry with Saheeli. Top card. See where it's going to go. Looks like it's going to stay on top there for Jones. Play that basic island. Remember, he does have an Anticipate in hand. You know, one of the things you also have to keep in mind is, okay, how good is Saheeli Ryan multiples? He's got 2 more copies in his hand. Doesn't really want to play another one here.
I mean, it is sort of the cost of doing business. All Planeswalkers are on diminishing returns. They're legendary cards. Gideon insulates itself from that probably better than any other Planeswalker in history, and there's still times where drawing multiple Gideons is inefficient.
Yeah, it's an easy comparison to make, but a lot of people are comparing this combo, Saheeli Ryan, Felidar Guardian, to Splinter Twin plus a Seaver Exarch. Well, Splinter Twins and multiples, not great.
Right.
Much like Saheeli. One could argue Saheeli is actually a little bit better in multiples than Twin is. So here's an Anticipate. Top 3 here for Jones. Remember, he scried the top card to the top with Saheeli Ryan last turn. Torrential Gearhulk, however, is the card he's going to take. 2 lands there. One of them was white in a Plains. But I think Gearhulk much more important than that white mana.
And Gearhulk here is quite the prize, because Jones, with all sorts of red removal in his graveyard, he wants to flash back here. On top of that, the additional copies of Saheeli Rye also play well with Torrential Gearhulk.
Oh, they do.
There are some synergies that we might explore here in a turn or two.
I believe a Walking Ballista here.
Yes.
For Cameron. Let's take a look at this newbie from Aether Revolt.
I think people are sleeping on this card a little bit.
I think there should be some more attention to this one.
I think that 2-mana Mog Fanatic in a format where Mog Fanatic breaks up an infinite combo, you're already possibly in the market for that.
Okay.
And there's a lot more going on than just 2-mana Mog Fanatic.
Somewhat similar to Hangerback Walker. Not exactly, of course, but XX00, you can put some counters on all that
There
stuff.
are parallels.
Yeah, Hangerback Walker, probably a more powerful card, but we are also in a different format. So I think people are sleeping on this just a little bit.
Also worth noting that not only is this interaction, this is also a way to win the game when you have infinite mana, and there are some combos that allow you for infinite mana in Standard also.
Fair enough.
So if you're playing Honest, I think the card is already playable. If you're playing a little dishonest with it, it becomes excellent, and if you're comboing out, it fits into that as well.
Glimmer of Genius there from Kevin. He got some energy. He found a land, an Aether Hub. That'll give him his white mana. It enters the battlefield tapped because of Thalia. But outside of that, things are looking pretty good here for Jones. Unfortunately for Cameron Rolen, things are not looking great. He hasn't found any more mana just yet, as Jones does draw a shock. Jones is going to start with a shock. Gonna go after Thalia.
I believe he's starting with the shock here because his land for the turn is an Aether Hub. He wants that to enter the battlefield untapped, so he can then play the Torrential Gearhulk. And then those other copies of Saheeli Rye become really good.
Yeah, they do.
Really good.
Evolving Wilds is the land there finally for Rolen. Little slow to the party, however. Here's a Torrential Gearhulk.
I mean, Jones might just be able to win this game with the beatdowns. So forget about having to combo out here. Also, if he happens to find the combo, he wins the game on the spot.
Yep.
Even if that doesn't happen, he's in a really good position.
Jones going to recast a Glimmer of Genius, so he's going to get some more energy. I believe he's up to 9 now. Scry 2, of course, and now Peel 2. And does he get the opportunity to untap? Looks like he does. Jones will draw.
So in game one, we saw, Jones can beat a shock. He has a negate. Who cares? This game, we can see him beat shock insofar as, all right, you kill one of my Saheeli Ryes. Who cares?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm just doing other stuff.
Speaking of Saheeli Rai, that might be cast this turn. However, it's a different 1 blue-red spell in Whirler Virtuoso. And he's got 12 energy, so that's...
That's 4 tokens.
4 Thopters, yeah.
Plus you have essentially a copy of Torrential Gearhulk in your hand, plus a shock in your graveyard. I don't know.
I kind of like this backup plan.
This is lethal enough.
Yeah. It's a pretty nice backup plan.
I don't know if he gets him, this turn or whatever, but he's in a commanding position.
Yeah.
Is that a Brutal Expulsion?
It is. He's got 1 in his main deck.
Wow! Have not seen that one.
It's a card we haven't seen for a really long time. It was a card that when it was first kind of released, Brutal Expulsion was the thing where it's like, okay, it's pretty flexible. It's expensive at 4 mana. You probably can't play 4 of them because it's not as good as Cryptic Command, but right now it's pretty darn good.
Yep.
Choose 1 or both. Return target spell or creature to its owner's hand. So return target spell, very Venser-esque for you veteran players out there. Or creature to its owner's hand, and then Brutal Expulsion deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker, which is important, and if that permanent would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it, which is also pretty important text.
So this is a really solid interaction against the combo, and also just kind of works in baseline Magic.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is just too much mana. If you're playing this primarily to interact with the combo, this strikes me as too expensive, but it is also, versatile, flexible. It's good in spots that don't involve the combo. Game's got to go on for a long time. 4 mana is a lot for this sort of thing.
It's not a card I think you can play a lot of copies of. You could probably play 2 throughout your 75, but it will be good.
Yep.
Four mana here from Rolen. Let's see where he's going to go this turn. He's got a Gideon and a Felidar Guardian in hand, so he's going to go to the Guardian. Oh, Brutal Expulsion is going to do a nice job on that.
So I guess shock your one thing and counter your other thing. Untap and kill you. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably where we're headed here in just a moment.
Good looking turn.
I've seen worse turns.
4, 9, 11 plus a token, and then
he's got a Fumarole.
Right. A shock in the graveyard. I mean,
yeah
this is lethal. Kevin Jones looks really comfortable playing Flash games that involve creatures.
He's been playing Flash decks for
I know.
so long. He'll untap all 7 lands, untap the Gearhulk here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we're all
way
set.
over.
Yeah,
way past lethal.
We are all set here. Here's Saheeli. Because I can blink and do all these other things and kill you, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Kevin Jones going to win this match here over Cameron Rolen, 2-0. Jeskai Saheeli, a bit of a mirror. 2 players trying to put this combo together. Jones was able to do it better than Rolen. And this gives us some talking points here, Patrick. Because, as you mentioned right after Game 1, all right, Cameron had a Stasis Snare, Kevin had a Negate. So that nonsense conversation is done.
We're done with that.
Yeah, 1 piece of interaction, bunch of ways to stop the combo, all that stuff. Okay, that's off the table.